In this week's video, we're going to focus on symmetry and we're going to focus on Monsanto. Okay, now the definition of symmetry, the way I use it in the market, is similarity or equality when comparing swings in the same direction. So here, what I typically do is I'll take the prior declines with an uptrend and then project those declines from the recent high and look for possible support. This helps us enter in the direction of the trend. Now, in the past, we did hold symmetry here, we held symmetry here, but this time when we had support at 103.04 to 61, this is what happened. You initially bounced off of it, but then as you moved forward, you failed to hold above it, and instead we tested the next lower symmetry support decisions that came in from, let's say, larger prior declines back here. Okay, so one of the things I want to show you is that, well, first of all, if you took a trade off of this area, you would have been stopped out, okay, either with a trailing stop or when it took out this prior swing low. Now, that's going to happen. But one of the things that I want to point out that you can watch if you are conservative as far as the entries, you can use the daily moving average crossover. Okay, for the daily charts, I use the 5 and the 13 EMAs. In this prior setup, you can see where you had the crossover to the upside, and you did get a little bit more of a rally there that at least made a target off of that swing. And then also here, you saw the crossover again to the upside, and you did see a target met on the upside. Now here, you can see that when we initially tested that old support, you did not get the crossover back to the upside. Okay, that's a good filter to use if you're super conservative. We did get a little bit of a bounce off of this area, and if you used the trailing stop, you wouldn't have been hurt that badly, but you never would have gotten involved if you used the 5 and 13 crossover. Okay, here the same thing occurred. We had a test of support, symmetry support. You did have a nice bounce here, but you never got the crossover again. So if we want to look at the most recent symmetry projections and where we did see a bounce, yes, you did get a nice bounce off of the symmetry support, but you can see that we still have not had the moving average crossover to the upside. Okay, so if you want to play it really safe in Monsanto, you might want to wait for that. If you're okay with risking against the recent low, because we did see a trigger at least on a 15-minute chart where you took out a prior swing high and you had the moving average crossover, and also I believe on a 30-minute chart you can take a trade against this most recent low, but you want to define your risk as underneath this low. And also remember, if you want to play it more conservatively, wait for the 5 and 13 EMA crossover before stepping back in on the buy side. Now, if this last low is more important, what can we expect? Well, let's see, we'll take this prior high to low swing, and the upside target is always the 1272 extension of the swing into the setup zone for any of the trend trade setups. So that means the upside potential is to this 112.67 area, so you can afford to wait and see if this does cross over if you do want to play it a bit more conservatively. Okay, otherwise remember that your risk is defined underneath this most recent low, and that came in at 97.05.